Yo, what up? Welcome back to another video, and today, I know it's been a while, I don't really have an excuse, besides the fact I am lazy, but today, we got this. This pizza box is oh, I hope you can read that. I don't know how in focus this is in. This is a Packard Legend 20 CD that I got from my neighbors a couple of years ago. It is a 486 DX2 that runs at 66 megahertz, and let us open it. So on the back, there's just 3 screws there, there, and there. So I got my magnetic parch dish. We're just going to open her up. There we go. Here's the inside of the computer. You can see here we have the optical drive, floppy drive. Underneath that is the original hard drive that actually still works. It is a 407-ish megabyte drive. It's not that big in capacity. Over here, we have what I believe is a Sound Galaxy Washington. I don't know why it's called Sound Galaxy Washington, but it is, even though it's got the Packard Bell OEM sticker on it. The drivers for what we're going to be installing later are Sound Galaxy Washington branded. So then if I just quickly rotate it over here and lift it up, right here you can see the 486. When I got it, it had this additional 4 megabytes of RAM in it, and the RAM stick says 4 megabyte upgrade, so I assume that this was upgraded later from the built-in 4 megabytes to 8 megabytes. But then just today I found out I had basically an exact copy of this stick, so I put this stick in. So this machine has 12 megabytes of RAM in it now. Now, the one other thing of note with this computer is if I rotate it around here, I'm not going to lift it up for fear. You can see there's a little paper bag, piece of paper with some wires going off of that. This thing has a soldered CMOS battery, and it was dead when I got it. So that piece of paper, and I'll put like a diagram of it on screen, is basically debont wires, a CR2032, and alligator clips that clip on to the original battery. I should just desolder it, but that's boring and difficult, and it works just fine like this. So that's the tour of the system. I'm gonna put it back together and we'll put it on the bench. Alright, we're set up at the desk here. You can see we got the Packard Bell. So let's boot it up. The power button is behind the keyboard, and how I have it set up right now. You can see I have 12 megabytes of RAM, and it's a 66 megahertz 486 DX2. Alright, here's DOS. This is actually the original software version. I restored it. The only thing I added is I added CL mode, and the original DOS version it ships with is 6.2, which I think is crazy, because in DOS lore, they actually got sued over DOS 6.2, and they had to pull it from store shelves and replace it with DOS 6.21, and then later DOS 6.22. But that's not the main thing. Packard Bell had this configured to auto start Windows 3.1. In this case, they actually shipped Windows for Workgroups 3.11, which I think is really interesting, because this thing doesn't have a network card in it. Ah, yeah. And I've installed Microsoft Office. It came with Microsoft Works, but I removed it. Yeah, so this is our system. If we pull down the About Program Manager, you can see we got a good amount. Let me zoom in on that. We got a good amount of memory, 3 and stuff. It can run programs pretty well. I put the extra 4 megabytes in because I wanted to run Photoshop. On 8 megabytes, it said there was not enough memory to run Photoshop. But now that we're on 12 megabytes, there is enough memory to run Photoshop. Okay, I think we're done loading, so just as a test, we will create pixels, and pixels will create a 504 by 360 image, and then we'll write hi. H-I. Hi. Hi. And as you can see, there's Photoshop. But I have Photoshop installed for a reason. It's a Win32s app. And as you could probably tell by the title of the video, we're gonna be installing, I don't know how well you can read this disk, OS2 Warp 3 Connect, the red spine version. The red spine version specifically allows you to keep your existing Windows installation on top of running OS2. But OS2 being garbage requires a whole bunch of extra shit. I need to go get that. I'll be right back. I am back. Believe it or not, to install OS2 Warp 3 on, let me remind you, is a pretty standard 486 DX2 system. You need at least this many disks. These two are just the boot disks that you need to boot. This one is a fix pack because the installer keeps freezing on here, and you need, IBM distributed something called Warp Inst. You can find it on Hobbs, on the Hobbs OS2 archive, and this contains a bunch of updated device drivers. The script that's on there, however, is dog shit and it doesn't work. So I wrote my own. This is the IBM SVGA support disk for some other computer, but it has CL mode, which lets you increase the resolution. And then this is the Sound Galaxy Washington driver disk. So let's put the warp disk in. This CD drive still works despite how old it is. It's really impressive, honestly. Then we are going to put in disk 1. Move this out of the way. And we are going to exit Windows. And one of the coolest features about this old thing is there's a dedicated reset button on it. The square button here is the reset button. So we're just going to press that. And it will begin booting. Again. So we're going to let this boot. As you can see up in the top left corner, it says OS2. It's currently booting. The bare essentials are required to boot OS2. This is probably going to take a while because booting from floppy disk is very, very, very slow. So we'll be back. Alright, so now it wants disk 2. So we take out the first disk, and we put in this disk. This disk has also been updated with a bunch of drivers, except country.sys. If you try and update country.sys from the FixPack package, the installer will just fail to work. So we're going to put this in, and then press enter. And we'll get that nice and beautiful OS2 Warp splash screen. So we're going to let this boot till we can actually get to the installer, and then we'll be back. Alright. This is the main installer screen. It says, congratulations on your purchase of IBM OS2 Warp Connect. Warp Connect contains OS2 Warp version 3, the bonus pack, and a whole bunch of networking shit. So we're going to press enter, and enter. Now, it will probably crash during this installer if you don't... Oh my god. Okay. This is the next screen of the installer. We're going to pick Advanced Installation for no reason other than I like it. It's already picked up our C drive, so we're going to accept the drive. It will load system files. Specifically, we want to do not format the partition. If we format the partition, our DOS and Windows install will be gone, and half the reason for having the original software on here will be gone. So we're going to tell that, no, don't do that. The hard drive is going to do hard drive things. I don't know if you can hear it. It's a very loud drive, actually. OS2 is so jank. I genuinely hate the fact that they had to push out like a fix pack to get the drivers to work on just random machines. I'm sure they only test on their own hardware because they're just like, yeah, buy full IBM, but no. I don't really know why I'm putting OS2 on here. Just this thing never really felt that up to running Windows 95. Anyway, as you can see, it is installing OS2 now. So this is going to take a while. We'll come back once we're done with this part of the installation. Alright, despite what this screen says, if you just reboot the workstation, your install will just explode. Because, like I said, we have to install the updated drivers. But how do we do that? I'll show you. Take disk out and prepare a DOS 6.2 or 6.2.2, whatever, boot disk. And we're going to want to boot this. So slide that into the drive, and we're going to let that boot. Okay, once that's booted, we can take out the boot disk. We won't be needing it anymore. And I'm going to put this disk in. Now, as I said, this is pretty much bog standard the warp fix disk, except I've added my own fix OS2 script and DOS attrib.exe. So all I'm gonna do here is we're gonna type fix os2.bat, and that will go through the different folders that the official script, which is called updateinst.bat, tries to update files in and fails, and this will actually do so. Alright, now this script actually goes way faster than the original script does, even failing to do that. So once we've updated everything, now we can actually reboot the system again by just pressing the reset button. Alright, this is the main install screen. There's a couple of things you're going to want to change here. First, click on primary display, and we're going to select source logic 5426, 5428, blah 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 blah. The other thing I gotta do is unselect Sound Blaster Pro, because despite the fact the sound card in here is a Sound Blaster Pro compatible card, that driver doesn't work. Everything else can be left at default, and do not install a default printer. And see, because we've installed on top of Windows, we have WinOS2 support right here. So then, you get out of the way. You can see this is only going to need 22 megabytes of disk space. So we can click install, add existing programs to my desktop. That would be pretty cool. It's going to grind a little bit. But then, because this is Warp Connect, it comes with extra things. Do you want to install networking support? In this case, yes I do, because it'll give us IBM TCP/IP, which includes internet access. I believe this will let me do some dial-up shit later, which is pretty cool. So that's like the main reason why I switched to Warp Connect, because it just comes with this stuff instead of having to find it separately for regular Warp 3. Also, I'm not gonna lie, I like the Warp 3 splash screen more than, or the Warp 3 Connect splash screen more than the regular Warp 3 splash screen, because the regular Warp 3 splash screen is just like a tiny little thing in the middle of the screen, while the Warp 3 Connect splash screen is way nicer. Anyway, no adapter. We're gonna select no adapter because we have no adapter, no network adapter in here. I don't know if this is going to inhale all the disk space it said, but it said it needed 50 megabytes, but it was the same amount of disk space as it was before, so hopefully it needs less. Really, I should just upgrade this to like a 2 GB compact flash card or something, but whatever, we'll deal with that bridge when we get there. And now, OS2 will just install. So this is gonna take a while. Alright, once you get the disk screen in the installer, you'll want to get the IBM SVGA support disk and put that in. I'll see if I can put a link to where I got this copy, but I don't really remember. Anyway, all you do is you put it in, then you click on the previous screen, use the utility provided by the vendor, and type aclmode.exe. This will allow OS2 to run in higher screen resolutions than 640 by 40, and you can change the refresh rate. So this is going to take a moment because this is the load from the fucking floppy disk. This is CL mode, and I know exactly how I'm going to handle this. We're going to go to monitor type, set it to advanced, and we're going to set advanced. Everything needs to be set to 60 Hz except that. We're going to set that to not available, and then OK, or OK, and then exit. And there we go. Now, the video modes should be installed properly. And now it just has to finish installing everything else. Just for the sake of documentation, if you do decide to install regular Warp 3 instead of Warp 3 Connect, you won't have this phase of the installer. This is new to Warp 3 because this is the networking stack. That's why it's called Multi-Protocol Transport Services, because it's for handling multiple network protocols. Wow, who could have seen that coming, am I right? Anyway, this takes a while, and it will reboot once during install before it finishes, but then once this step is done, you'll pretty much have an installed warp system. Yeah, see, it's gonna restart. Once this step of the installer is done, you'll have a fully working Warp 3 system on a 486, or on a Packard Bell Legend 20 CD. So, I'll be back once this is done, because this is still going to take a while. It's only a 66 megahertz 486 after all, it's not very fast. Alright, once you boot to the desktop, if you're on Warp Connect anyway, you'll probably notice that the hard drive is just grinding away doing a whole bunch of stuff for no reason. It's not quite done yet. You'll want to wait till the hard drive activity dies down, and there's a folder up in the top right. IBM Internet Connection for OS2, you'll want to wait for that to get an icon. Then you'll know your system is pretty much almost done and ready to be actually used. Almost. We're going to install the sound card driver. So the last driver we're going to install is the sound driver, which is in multimedia setup. I believe it's in multimedia setup anyway, I could be wrong. I don't remember where it is. Is it this one? It is this one. Okay. So, then you take your Sound Galaxy Washington disk, and you want to switch it to drive A. Sound Galaxy, install. Yes. This will install the OS2 mode audio driver. There is one other audio driver you're going to need to install, and that is the audio driver for Windows, which we will cover once this thing reboots. It's also on the disk. So yeah. We have one Sound Galaxy Washington, and wave address, wave interrupt level. I'm pretty sure it's actually interrupt 5. Oh, maybe not. No, this is interrupt 5. I know the mini interrupt is interrupt 5. Everything else looks okay to me. Okay. 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 So then we could take the Sound Galaxy Washington disk out. And at this point, we have to reboot the computer, which is done by clicking shutdown and clicking OK. and then waiting for OS2 to shut down, except it won't actually shut down. It'll just say shutdown has completed. It is now safe to turn off your computer. Control-Alt-Delete, and let it reboot. So I'm going to let this reboot, and we'll be right back. And there we go. That. OS2, you're so loud. I'm gonna turn that shit down a little bit. But yes, that's the OS2 audio driver installed. Now there's just one other audio driver we gotta install. And for that, we gotta boot Program Manager. I don't remember if it's supposed to do this or not. I don't think it is. Oh lord, that is the world's most annoying sound. Oh, it's got a boot fucking Office too. I forgot about that. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Please shut up. We'll fix it in a second. Okay? Okay, we're back. OS2 showing how terrible it is. I just removed the 16-bit audio driver, and now Windows mostly works. But I am going to increase the screen resolution because it is very low right now. So here's how we do that. You go to the OS2 system folder, system setup, system, and we're gonna set it to this resolution. And I have the reboot. Alright, we're back, and as you can see, OS2 is now running in a higher resolution. And now that means we can actually test OS2's ability to run our old software. So in this case, we have a whole bunch of Windows applications and stuff. Or actually, why don't we just straight up run Program Manager? So here's Program Manager. We're gonna run that. Okay, here's Program Manager. And there's fucking Office. So I guess, fittingly, the first thing to test should be Microsoft Office, since it keeps reminding us it exists. So let's try Microsoft Word. Word starts right up, but then again, this is a native Win16 app, so I'd be surprised if it didn't work. I can type, and yeah, it's fine. No issues. No. Oh my god, listen to that hard drive. I don't know if you can hear it, but it goes crazy. Alright. I say the next thing we test, well, we could probably open Navigator, right? Yeah. We could probably run Packard Bell Navigator, which is like oh yeah, there it is, Packard Bell Navigator. Look, it's the video. It won't play any audio though, but that's okay. Welcome to Packard Bell Navigator. And there's the window. And there it is. I'm gonna say, we'll just click the Microsoft Windows button. And that means we probably have Navigator running in the background. Yes, we do. There's Navigator. Yeah. Packard Bell Navigator runs fine. The thing I'm... Oh, also, I want to see, does, like, Ski Free run? Can I play Ski Free? I can play Ski Free. Not very well. Now, my main question is, I have a copy of, or I thought I had, I do, it's right here. I have a copy of SimCity 2000 for Windows. Will this work? Oh, it has to do this, I forgot about this. This is the WinG calibration screen. So yeah, this is just gonna take a little bit of sitting here and watching this weird pattern have a stroke. That's super weird. You hear that? That's MIDI. Yeah, shut up. How is it doing MIDI? It doesn't have a driver installed for MIDI. It's not very fast, but yeah. Anyway, let's start a new city and see how well this game plays. Why is everything red? We'll call it crack, because that's funny. Crack Herald. It's a little slow. I think native Windows might run this faster, but that also might just be because we're on a 486. Anyway. Can I build roads? I can build roads. Let's build some roads. Oh god, what the fuck did I do? Oh no. Let's abort this city before I go broke. No. I don't want to save this city because I'm probably just gonna delete it later. So, SimCity works. We can play that. I have actually tried Doom 2 on here too, but that didn't work. So, the big test I want to see is Photoshop 4.0, because if you don't know, this is actually a 32-bit Windows app, and it runs on 3.1 using Win32s, which is a subset of the Win32 API for Windows 3.1. So, let's see. Oh no. Win32s error. Windows is running in standard mode. Win32s can only run in 386 enhanced mode. That's insanely disappointing, actually. Oh god. I have not done any research into if this is fixable, but that's disappointing. Anyway, for the last thing we're gonna do today, I have a copy of ColorWorks for OS2. So, why don't we install that? We take the warp disk out, we put ColorWorks in. Then we can slide it up. Alright, here we are. Then we can close this and close this. I don't know what this is supposed to be, but that's just still— oh! That's still Windows? What? Anyway, not important. Let's install ColorWorks, which is on the D drive. Right, I forgot OS2 sucks. And you gotta right click, open details view. Let's see, is there an installer? I assume it's in here. Maybe? Wait, how do you— wait, what? Oh, setup.exe. I am fucking blind. I would like to apologize. I am stupid. This is a software package from, it looks like 1995 or 1996, which I'm hoping will run on Warp 3? Actually, no, this might be a Warp 4. Oh, yep, it runs. Okay, yes, I would love to install this software package. ColorWorks V2, Artist's Ultimate Power Program. I have never used this software before. I just found it on the list of, like, native OS2 software. Yeah? Do I have enough disk space? Yes, I do. Install ColorWorks. Of fucking course, because you have to reboot to do anything in OS2. We have to reboot to finish installing our software package. As you can see, we have booted back into OS2. So, how about we run that— oh, the frickin' hard drive's going crazy on this thing. I don't even know what it's doing. It's just doing something. Oh, that's what it's doing. It's starting a Windows session. That's what it's doing. I see. Here's ColorWorks v2 for OS2. Let's see. This is supposedly like Photoshop for OS2 or something. 1994 to 95 SPG Inc. All rights reserved. Okay. Show me what you got. ColorWorks. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna have to move Fumo out of the shot because that's where the color picker is. Wow, it's already loaded? Really? Okay. We'll create a new 400 by 400 image. We'll make it bigger. This is as big as it is, apparently. Pixels. Pixels, yeah, that's 400 by 400. So can I write high? High. Ooh. 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 What the fuck? Press and hold down. Why is it so bad at keeping up? What, am I using this software wrong? Anyway, if we go very... is there like different tools? No. Anyway, so if we just very slowly... I want to say this runs better than Photoshop, but honestly, I don't know if it does. That's pretty much... yeah, shut up. That's pretty much all I got. Sorry if this video was a little long-winded and rambly. I just really wanted to show off my Packard Bell Legend 20 CD, because this is now the oldest functioning computer that I own and like to use, and I wanted to make a video about OS2, because OS2 is intensely fascinating, while at the same time being insanely boring and mundane. So, thanks for watching. I don't know when the next video will come out, and I hope you have a good rest of your night. See you later.